Okay, so excuse the background noise. I don't normally do like the talking thing. I don't do tutorials, normally stuff like that. I do teach lessons. Shameless plug, if you want to learn more about that, you can go to my Instagram page. There's a pinned post about that. Anyway, so pushing it down and praying. I've been getting a lot of DMs, well, a handful of DMs asking about tabs and the chords. I don't do tabs. Um, I don't create tabs very well. If somebody wants to tab out whatever I talk about here, um, feel free, that'd be great. Um, but me personally, I don't really learn through tabs anymore. It's just not really my thing, and I prefer to use my ear. So, um, as for like chords and stuff, I'm gonna kind of try and break this down. This is probably gonna be a pretty long TikTok. So feel free to kind of like skip ahead, skip forward if there's stuff that you don't care about, or watch the whole thing. Um, you know, I'm gonna try and go through both guitar parts from the two different players. So you've got Lizzy's part and Mason's part doing the electric guitar. Lizzy's on acoustic. Um, I'll do Lizzy's part first. Luckily, they're both in the same tuning. This is also, um, I should be clear that I'm teaching this from the perspective of listening to it, learning it by ear, um, being told certain aspects of it um, by Mason Stoops, who was the electric guitar player on this song. I hope I'm not overstepping by doing any of that. And then also just like watching live videos and stuff like that, watching them play it. So, I guess we start with the tuning. So the tuning is a open C sharp tuning, which sounds like this. The tuning might be a little shaky on this guitar just because this is a electric and with tens, and that's tuned down pretty low. So the tuning might fluctuate, but it works. So that tuning is going to be, if you're familiar with either open E or open D, it's the same intervals, it's the same tuning, just down where your root note is C sharp. So it's basically like you're holding down an E major chord, this chord shape, but tuned that way, so now you have an open chord. And so the notes here that you're going to be tuning to from low to high, C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F, G sharp, C sharp, gives us that. Okay, so with the song, song is in the key of C sharp, and we start here on the 9th fret with a minor chord shape. It's basically a B flat minor chord. The main shapes that you're going to be using throughout this entire song are either going to be major chords or minor chords, but with some open strings ringing. So the easiest way to think about it is a major chord shape. If I say that there's going to be like an F sharp major chord or something like that, as it relates to the tuning, is going to be you're going to be barring a string across. You're going to be playing. I usually do it, and the way I've seen Lizzy do it is using your middle finger on the low E, ring finger on the A string, and then pinky on the G string, and then the other three strings, the D, the B, and the high E, all ring open. So for example, this chord, it's an F sharp major chord, but we're leaving these strings open. And the same thing with the minor, which is what it starts on. You would just lower that G string note. So instead of it being this, it's this. And I usually like to grab that with my pointer finger, and that's why I use the chord shape this way, because then I can flip my pinky and my pointer finger as need be. So, song starts on a B flat minor chord, which is this, the 9th fret. And then we go down to an F sharp major. And this is all the intro is. Now for the verse, it's that same thing. And then we drop for half a bar to an F minor. And then for the other half of that bar, slide up to an A flat minor chord at the 7th fret. And then a full bar of that F sharp minor chord. So altogether it sounds like this. And then the second time around that it does that, instead of going down from this A flat minor to the F sharp, it's now it just hangs on this A flat minor. So it'll sound like. Now for the pre-chorus section, what I think is happening here, and it's a little hard to tell just from, there's not a ton of video, and the guitar kind of gets mixed a little lower in this on the track. But what I think is happening for this pre-chorus is it's going, which is open, and then just the low E and the A at the 2nd fret, leaving all the other strings open. You don't fret a G string note here. And then up to that F sharp major chord. And then it does the intro and verse part again with that B flat minor and that F sharp. Something like that, right? Okay, now for the chorus section, it's super similar. It's just a little bit of a different feel to it. So obviously the chorus is this walking up feel. So you get this. That's the whole chorus. You're just doing that same walk up, but just with a slightly different feel. And you play along with the song, and you kind of figure that out. Okay, so Mason's part is definitely going to have to be in another video, because this video is already pushing about 8 minutes long. But let's do Lizzy's bridge section. So the bridge is this really cool, and I think this was, I can't tell because I've never actually listened to the original voice memo all the way through, if this is a Lizzy thing or a Mason thing, but they both end up playing the same thing in the bridge on the whole song. So it's this. So what's happening there is it's all open strings, and you're kind of emphasizing these 2 high strings, and you can kind of hear it in the recording what I'm talking about, where it's like. And what's happening here is that same F sharp chord shape, but instead of having the open E on the high section, you're fretting the 4th fret of the high E. It's a little bit of a weird chord shape, but you get used to it the more you play it. But you're doing the same thing. And I think at the end of that bridge, there's a funky chord that Mason plays that I can do in the Mason video. But I think Lizzy is just playing this. I think it's just strumming and holding that chord. And then after that, it's just repeat I believe it's the chorus again at the end, and then that's it. That's the whole song. So hopefully that's helpful for anybody who's asking. Like I said, I'll make a separate video on Mason's guitar part. But if you have any questions, shoot me a DM, leave a comment, and see you guys in the Mason video.